We go out to LA to SoFi Stadium for a matchup with the Miami Dolphins and the LA Chargers, a matchup of two of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, both of the class of 2020. Justin Herbert got the extension. We're still waiting on that extension with Tua, but we fully expect that to be carried out either later this year or in the next offseason. And the Dolphins put the league on notice that if Tua is upright, this offense is one of the fastest you'll ever see. Tyreek Hill goes off for 11 catches, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, simply exploiting that he's the fastest receiver to ever play the sport. Jalen Waddle has a quiet 4 for 98, still using the burst there. Raheem Mostert is a very fast running back out of the backfield. There's a lot of other pass catchers out there, a lot of other weapons, and Tua was in command. 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not a clean game, had a 1 pick and a turnover in Chiefs territory, and a turnover in Chargers territory on a bad snap. But I'm really impressed with what I saw out of Tua. If he can do this on a consistent basis, it's really whether or not he can stay upright, correct? It's injuries, it's learning how to fall, and if he's doing this on a consistent basis, he can be an MVP candidate. The Dolphins could be a Super Bowl contender. I don't think anybody in the AFC East has the amount of talent around them other than Tua and the Dolphins. I mean, receivers, studs. Offensive line, I wouldn't say is extraordinary, but still enough on a consistent basis. And that defensive line, Kristen Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, and then the back end with Xavier Howard. You have Holland, you have Jalen Ramsey, who will be coming back later this year. It's very, very talented. Mike McDaniels and Vic Fangio, they coach circles around Brandon Staley. I mean, so many times you saw on the defensive side that Vic Fangio was able to get the better of the LA Chargers. I mean, there was a huge sequence where Herbert got sacked and he barely got the ball out of the goal line to prevent a safety, but the next sequence caused a short punt because he was backed up. Miami Dolphins take advantage with a deep pass from Tua over to Tyreek, and there were a lot of times where Brandon Staley, who was the defensive-minded head coach, decided to leave single coverage against Tyreek Hill, and there was a lot of times there wasn't a lot of safety help over the top. Too many times press coverage, and that's not going to get it done against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Those are two guys that are too fast for press coverage. You got to play zone, you have to have safety help over the top, or simply just say, okay, yes, we're going to try and a lot of resources to take away Tyreek Hill, but you just can't say let Tyreek get his and let other guys beat him, because that neither of those game plans worked. These are just things that you see out of Brandon Staley's Chargers. This are too many times he's getting out coached. He's taking risks at unnecessary moments in the game. He doesn't know how to coach a very talented defense, and they're wasting the prime of Justin Herbert. We saw too many times now that Justin Herbert is put into precarious situations due to lack of adjustments by Brandon Staley's staff, and it's just going to turn into a mess. We've seen a lot of those decisions where Brandon Staley decides to put in Mike Williams in a meaningless Week 18 matchup against the Denver Broncos where Mike Williams gets hurt. They don't have him for the playoffs, and that was a kind of a factor why they didn't win that playoff matchup against the Jaguars. They blew a 27-0 lead. He's on thin ice, and I'd hope something turns around, but I don't have a lot of faith. I think in that division, he is the 4th best head coach, because yes, you have Josh Daniels right now with the Vegas Raiders, but he has some experience under Bill Belichick, and I think they've looked pretty decent at times, and he has experience as a head coach. Brandon Staley does not. Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl, and Andy Reid is arguably one of the best of all time. Yes, the LA Chargers have a lot of work because they missed a golden opportunity like the Cincinnati Bengals to get ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs, and right now the Dolphins look fast, better than ever, as one of the most scariest offenses I've ever seen.